What's up everyone, welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Video Game Fight School channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. So today one of my audience members commented on one of my videos and they talked about how much they respect Gotham Knights. Not necessarily just because of the game itself, but the fact that the developers are putting in a lot of work to show audiences exactly what the game is about. And you know, the way they actually commented and put it was actually very funny because it ended with a very interesting comment. I say funny, but it made me laugh, but it's actually the fact in a sense. It says, hey, look, you know, after everything, we've built one of, if not the best created Gotham City anyone has ever seen to this day. And if it's not enough, here's more and more. If you don't like it, that's fine, but at least you know what you're buying. Don't say we didn't warn you. One of the interesting things too in this comment is a lot of other developers have not been in a position where they get to show a lot of details. Usually what we get is a lot of really under, the weather, very small, tiny reveals, drip feeding a lot of what it is that the game might be about. And we noticed that one thing about Gotham Knights is the blessing and the curse of Gotham Knights, meaning the blessing is that we got to see a bunch of the game before release, and the curse is that we got the game delayed and even removed from one generation of consoles. So this entire conversation that a lot of people, come up with is, that Gotham Knights is this or Gotham Knights is that. But the one thing that they cannot say is that Gotham Knights is vague in a sense. We've seen a lot of what this game is about. The only thing that I think that's left right now is to actually get a game feel as to exactly what the game is. Now, the arguments back and forth are there. Some people are saying this game is not a next-gen game and all the above, but that, in my opinion, is a straw man argument. It's an argument that you build up just so that you can attack, because Gotham Knights is not a next-gen game. It was being built for the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, and when things started to get hairy, which I think the machines being, old and not being able to carry ambitious games, they decided to go ahead and scrap them. So when you go back and look at that and say, okay, this is basically a PS5 Xbox Series port more than anything else. But, I guess that's something that I'm sure somebody will probably still argue against. It brings us to the perspective where we're asking, how about these other games that are coming out? How many months do they have left to be released? And where are their own gameplay reveals and their own marketing strategies or marketing presentations to their audiences? Because some of them carry release dates like December, January. In my opinion, I can basically name them. Callisto Protocol right now is a December 2nd release. So October, November, December. So in about 3 months, we're going to be, or even less, we're going to be getting Callisto Protocol according to what the developers have actually proposed. Forspoken is a January game, so in about 4 months, you're going to be getting that game as well. But if you think about it, we just got to see Forspoken's gameplay just shown a few days ago, I think about a few weeks ago, where they actually allowed for some folk to do some hands-on, like IGN, SkillUp. And, SkillUp did make mention of his thoughts, but it wasn't necessarily something that, he was too impressed about. He's still in a position where he's saying he's keeping an eye out for what they have to show next, but the game comes out in a very short period of time compared to, say, Gotham Knights that showed gameplay in 2020, August of 2020. That's when we saw the very first gameplay around Gotham Knights. When you think about this, you realize that there is an entire conversation that we probably need to make sure that we have when we're talking about the way this game has actually revealed a lot of its own, elements. And so it's very cool to just see that's how far we've had material to start assessing exactly what Gotham Knights is. In fact, the next time we got to see gameplay, even though it was a long period of time, yes, that was a huge marketing drought. That was the worst period to be a Gotham Knights fan, was in May when we eventually got to see the Red Hood and Nightwing trailer. So May, June, July, August, September, October, somewhere around the 5-month, window and time frame, we started to get to see more in-depth content surrounding Gotham Knights. But a lot of these other games have 3-4 months of release, and time continues to tick. We have conferences going on, all kinds of opportunities to be able to showcase these things, and we haven't seen them yet. It probably lends to the possibility that these games might get delayed, maybe. Probably also lends to the possibility that these games might just not be ready to release. And so that's probably the only thing that you can call out of this and just reduce it. I'm not saying that those games are not as good as Gotham Knights. No, they may be better, but I'm just saying that if they're going to be releasing at their designated release date, many people are still going to be going into those games blind compared to, say, Gotham Knights. In fact, some of you've already put in a cookie jar how much you're willing to pay for Gotham Knights. Not because you actually like the game or love the game. It's because you actually know what the game is going to be about. To me, I think that's a better and a worthwhile purchase as a gamer than going in to buy a game that you don't necessarily know what it's about. You don't know how the DLC will roll. I was really rooting for Hogwarts Legacy until I found out that in this climate, they're getting another PlayStation. They're giving Sony an exclusive, but it's also interesting because it's a Warner Brothers published game. So I'm in a weird conundrum where I either remain consistent or at least wait it out to see how the exclusive content is going to go. Because right now, I'm not really, rooting for Sony. As much as I've always respected Sony's work, I think their greed is going to take a hold of them and probably be their downfall, which will be fine if they're not going to provide value for gamers. But Gotham Knights, in my opinion, has provided enough value just based on the information that's been given to a lot of the community. It's been so much. We've gotten to see story elements. We've gotten to see suits, skins. We know how we're going to acquire these suits and skins. Another audience member of mine actually put out a comment, which I thought was very interesting, and I want to share it with you guys. And, it's something that we have to also make sure that we highlight in the conversation, because the critics will still be there, but at least the critics cannot accuse this game of certain things. So usually I've realized that most times the critics will move the goalpost and change the accusation or change the critique parameters. This, audience member of mine said, I'm glad that it won't have microtransaction BS. I legit hate games that are like, get this new awesome limited time only skin on the shop now for $49.99. Remember to grab it now, as it will expire on this date. Similar to the trashy Marvel Avengers game, microtransactions are shameless and a plague to the gaming industry. And they went on. Now, I have to say, Gotham Knights, even though it may be a game that is not going to have in a official sense microtransactions, there are some elements still there, like the Batmobile skin that you get for pre-ordering the game. I don't know, and I'm not certain. Maybe you can still acquire it in the game after you start playing the game. And then some other things like you're going to be getting with the deluxe edition. I think there were some materials that you get actually when you buy the deluxe edition, but I'm not certain how that's going to affect your progress in the game. The game doesn't have a PvP side, and Marvel Avengers did not have a PvP side as well. So we have to be fair that there are some elements of that here in the Gotham Knights game. So we'll see how they go ahead and address this as time gets closer, because the devs still owe us one more Q&A. I mean, they say they were going to do it. We're not entitled to it, but we're just holding them, we're holding them accountable to the things that they actually said and promised. But I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section. At this point, do you know what you're getting with Gotham Knights? And if you're not yet, if you don't know and you're not certain, I would encourage you, and everyone in this community will also encourage you to wait. If you want more information, perhaps there's still time before release. They'll keep showing more information. And if you don't get as much information as you want, then hold off till the game starts to get played. And at that point, the game and the cat is out of the bag, and you're going to be getting that information anyways. So thanks for watching the video. I really appreciate you guys' time and audience, and hopefully we'll talk soon. Peace out.